Now we turn to another big question tonight. Why are so many Democrats so strongly opposed to the SAVE Act, which would simply require proof of citizenship and voter ID to be eligible to vote? Now, of course, the left is diving back into their failed playbook. I tell you, this happens every election year, every 2 years, every 4 years. Chucky Schumer leading the way, decrying the legislation, Jim Crow 2.0. You hear it every 2 years, you hear it every 4 years. Here you go again.
The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it.
Complete lie. This legislation is anything but Jim Crow 2.0. And the concept of photo ID to vote is actually very popular. Don't take my word for it. Even fake news CNN admitted it has bipartisan support and it crosses all demographics. Take a listen.
What are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote. But even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj.
Here with reaction, Fox News contributors Ari Fleischer and Reince Priebus. Okay, explain to me, Ari, I'll start with you. Voter ID, signature verification, chain of custody, any mail-in ballots can be available for the public to view online with a camera so nobody can mess with them. Updated voter rolls every election year, not that hard. You have partisan observers, every precinct, watch the voting all day, the vote counting all night. Why is any of that controversial? Clearly, it's not based on those CNN numbers.
Yeah, I'd add to that list of common sense things to make sure the voting is what it's supposed to be. A constitutional amendment that says only Americans can vote in American elections. Look, this whole notion of 2.0, Jim Crow, suppression, think about how ludicrous that is in our daily lives. You get in your car to drive to an airport, you got to have an ID, or is that driver suppression? You fly on the airplane, you have to show your ID to get on the plane. Is that Jim Crow 2.0 in the air? Then you land, you go to a hotel, you have to show your ID to check in at the front desk. Is that Jim Crow 2.0? You want to get a beer at the bar, they ask for your ID to make sure you're older than 18. Is that Jim Crow 2.0? The ludicrousness of saying that the simple act of showing an ID is somehow an act of suppression. The only reason somebody could be for that is they want to leave the door open to letting people who are illegal in this country vote. That's what drives us for Democrats. They want to keep that door open.
On every major issue, Republicans, the country wants tax cuts. Republicans gave them that. Republicans want lower gas prices. They got that from President Trump. Republicans want legal immigration, not illegal immigration. Reince Priebus, even those that may not like the fact that ICE has been arresting murderers, rapists, child molesters, other violent criminals. I'm not sure why that's deemed controversial. But they always go that extra mile. Now the question is, we're 10 months away. To me, it's too early to determine. However, I do think that Republicans have winning issues if they articulate their message well.
Well, and look, I mean, Chuck Schumer is twisting himself and bending so far over that he's looking upside down to everybody else, and that's what the Democrats are doing. I mean, look at this issue. I mean, he's talking about what he's trying to say is that people who don't have enough money won't have a photo ID. But let's look at SNAP and food stamps. I think you need an ID for that. Medicaid, how about Social Security disability? How about Section 8 public housing? How about utility assistance payments? How about unemployment payments? And by the way, where do you need to go to get this government assistance? The last time I checked, you had to go to a government building. And so where are these people going to go to get all of these things that they need for assistance? And why isn't Chuck Schumer trying to change those laws? And Jim Crow, I mean, I agree with Ari. I mean, what an embarrassment. I mean, when you're talking about literacy tests, poll taxes, a grandfather clause where people were told that you couldn't vote unless your grandfather voted, and of course their grandfathers never voted. I mean, it's actually disgusting, and they need to be called out. And I guess, you know, as a Democrat, he would know, because that's one of the Democrats' specialties, were all of these Jim Crow laws. It's embedded in their party and their history.
All right, is this just more evidence that Chuck Schumer wants power more than anything else, and he's giving in to the radicals in his party? Exit question, Ari.
Yeah, it's because he wants to be able to have people who shouldn't vote. That's going to be the only reason you do this. They say it's rare that there are people who voted illegally. But you know what? I lock my door every night, Sean. It's probably rare that anybody's ever tried to break in my entire life. It's probably never happened. You still lock your door every night. You want the voter rolls to be secure too.
No, it's called getting on the wrong side. It's getting on the wrong side of normal, and that's what these people do in order to appease a very small minority of nut jobs.
It's a small minority, but they run the entire party, and you know, Minority Leader Jeffries, Minority Leader Schumer, even Governor Hochul. I mean, they're all leaders in name only. It's Mamdani, it's the squad, and the radical left that control all these so-called leaders. Good to see you both. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.